Alright guys, it's that time of year and I was really scratching my brain on if I could work something into a holiday video, so I started looking around and decided on just somewhat of a classic in the power scaling community, and that is scaling Santa. Against Goku, of course. We will be going over not just the regular matchup, but Composite Goku and Composite Santa as well.
What are Composite Santa's powers?
I don't know, but he freaks me right the out.
If you don't know what that means, simply put, that means we're going to be looking at every Santa ever and applying that to one single composite version of the others. That doesn't mean we're going to be combining every version to get stronger by addition, rather we will be taking their best feats from whatever Santa is out there and apply that to our composite version of the Cheerful Kringle. So with that long intro out of the way, grab some gingerbread cookies and a glass of nog as we go over who would win, Santa or Goku. Let's begin with our real-world version of Santa. Santa Claus, also known as Saint Nicholas, Kris Kringle, or simply Santa, is a legendary figure who exists from the Christian lore and utilizes magic to some degree. A lot can be speculated on how much of Santa's abilities are due to magic, or raw display of strength and speed, but for sake of argument, we will consider the latter. With some average calculation, taking the amount of people getting gifts, multiplying it by the weight of the gifts, plus another multiplier because Santa isn't no scammer, each kid probably getting a few gifts, crunching that number down, we get around 7.8 million tons of weight that Santa is logging around. While carrying all that weight, Santa is most likely clocking in at a speed at around 650 million miles per second in his sleigh, thanks to a user who did the math on that bit. Using this math, Santa is easily going faster than sound hundreds of times over. We aren't sure how much these numbers translate to combat, but again, for the sake of argument, we will say they carry over 1-to-1. Now, how does Goku stack up against this Santa? Goku, known by some as Kakarot, is the main character from the franchise Dragon Ball and onward. He has gone through many fights and come a long way from when he was a kid. Through fights with aliens all the way up to gods, Goku has some insane showings, which we will get to now. Goku can blow up a universe, and is faster than light. Yeah, it's not even close here unfortunately, but we aren't done here. We still got the main event to go over. Composite Santa versus Composite Goku. Starting with Santa, he has many counterparts in fiction, almost all of them being relatively weak considering the scaling spectrum he would need to be to stand up to Goku. However, the two comic Santas come in clutch to maybe push the scaling up quite a bit. Starting with DC Santa, there isn't a lot to go over, but the one thing we get is actually fairly significant. Santa not only delivers all the presents to all the children in a single night every year, but Santa also goes traveling through space and time and getting past the defenses of Darkseid's planet Apocalypse and giving him coal every single year. We get several statements and references to Apocalypse existing somewhere outside of our space and time at least, so that would give Santa bare minimum infinite speed due to him being able to cross the infinite voids of universe in between the space-time of Earth and Apocalypse. There are some eras where Apocalypse is shown to be in the same universe as some characters fly to it, but these are less consistent than the narrative described before. Now, onto Marvel Santa. And here's where things pick up a bit for AP and things like that. Santa is directly stated to be the strongest mutant in existence. This is including the likes of Jean Grey, who we already know has some busted ass scaling. From reading the entire history of Nolan Seconds, or even bending the White Hot Room, and many other brain-fucking feats, it's safe to say this all puts Santa on a completely different scale than before. By how much? It's hard to exactly say, but considering Santa may even be on the same tier as Jean Grey with the Phoenix Force, Santa not only has her hyperversal scaling, but his speed would also scale up to Santa having infinite to immeasurable speed. So pretty much what all this means, Santa pretty much can destroy higher dimensional structures that are 8 to any higher finite number of infinite levels above a universal size dimension. TDLR, Santa exists on a whole different level than most of fiction, let alone his franchise. Now let's see how this Santa stacks up against our composite version of Goku. With Composite Goku, we have a lot, and I mean a lot, of feats, statements, showings, and what have you, across so many damn different animes, games, and different fictions overall. So let's just sweep through a lot of it and take his best showings and see what Composite Goku is made of. A lot of what we see is going to be coming from Dragon Ball Heroes to start off, so let's go over some notable examples. Goku defeating Demigra. Gamikra is someone who transcended the infinite timelines of Dragon Ball Heroes as a whole, which was also reaching the real world. In this case, being the real world in the series, where the game of Dragon Ball Heroes is played, and that's where these events take place, inside that video game. He also defeated Kamel, who was a threat to the real world as well, the same real world described before. He also defeated another guy who was capable of some pretty crazy shit, but I'm sure you get the point. Goku is beating up guys who are messing with literal reality, placing Goku in the complex multiversal levels, and you could argue even higher scaling from Heroes due to the time crystals. But it doesn't stop there. Let's move on to Jump Force, where we get a brief but very high boost to Goku. And that is Jump Force Goku, where he fought Prometheus, who viewed all of Shonen as fiction, which should be considered narrative ascension. Quantifying how far this puts Goku is hard, but I and others would agree this puts Goku on a higher plane of complex multiversal level, and if not, just reestablishes him being on that level stated before. I'd personally argue it puts him higher, but I'm gonna just leave my thoughts for a later video. What all this means is that Goku would be able to contend with beings who exist on a higher dimensional plane than just multiversal. Now, a huge thank you to Kaz for bringing this to mine and many other fans' attention, but we get one more showing of how cracked Composite Goku can get when you consider all of his fictions put together, and I'm talking about God Fusion Goku. For a TDLR, Goku is part of an in-real-life Universal Japan attraction, in which he fuses with the actual audience and uses the power to defeat Broly, who was stronger than Frieza from the first Universal attraction showing, in which Frieza was a threat to the literal in-real-life world. If you consider this into the narrative for Composite Goku, it would place him into a boundless plane of existence, transcending the concept of fiction and reality itself. Now, what does this mean for the fight? While both characters are breaking their own universe in terms of absurd scaling, Goku would hands down take the crown in this fight. It was comparable before the inclusion of God Fusion Goku, but including that would put Goku way over the edge in terms of what it would take to win this battle. Both characters are existing above existence in some regard, but Goku is literally transcending any concept of what it means to be dimensional. If I'm discounting anything that would change the outcome of this fight, feel free to drop it below, but remember, this is just a silly video for the holidays. I just thought I'd speculate on this due to the holiday novelty. Also, drop a like if you enjoyed, cause that would make my day. Anyway, hope you all had a great Christmas, and yeah, take care.